Main man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. And the new now unified heavyweight champion of the world, now holding the IBF and the WBA heavyweight championships. None other than Anthony Joshua. He defeats Wladimir Klitschko by stoppage, knocking him out in the 11th round. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight, man. Roller coaster ride of a fight, up and down of a fight. Hats off to Anthony Joshua and his entire corner. Man, he deserved this win tonight. He fought his way back, man. We thought he was done. Thought it was over. And what does he do? He comes back and he stops Klitschko. But after going down himself earlier on in the fight, there were several knockdowns throughout this fight, man. Both men hurting each other. Wladimir Klitschko giving a very, very valiant effort. I had him up on the scorecards going into the 11th round, man. Before Anthony Joshua got the stoppage, I had the score at 95-96. Yes, I did give that round that was a knockdown for Anthony Joshua. I scored that round a 10-9 round instead of a 10-8 round because the way Klitschko rallied back in that round and damn near stopping Anthony Joshua in that round, I just was like, wow. I couldn't do nothing. I thought he equalized it enough to pull it into within the 10-9 round instead of a 10-8 round. So that's what made my score 95-96. I gave AJ a lot of the earlier rounds. A lot of people may have gave AJ the first 4 rounds, to be honest with you, but I didn't. I gave him the first 3. Well, with the second round, honestly, I scored it as a draw because I thought neither man did enough to really edge that round. So I scored the second round a draw. The 4th round, I actually gave to Wladimir Klitschko. I thought he started to work behind the jab a little more flush in the earlier portion of the fight, especially at that point when not much was even going on. And AJ, to me, at that point was really looking stiff and kind of one-dimensional, you know what I mean? So, and though much wasn't landing in that round, I thought the jab was the more consistent punch of the round, and it was enough to edge it to Klitschko, Joe. But you know, man, even in the knockdown, man, you gotta say, man, AJ, he comes out early, he rallies early in that 4th round. I mean, in that 5th round, he comes out and rallies early, jumps on top of Wladimir Klitschko when he has like full energy, puts everything he has when he gets, you know, and the mistake of Klitschko was that earlier on when they come out from the corners, he was allowing AJ to get right up on him. Like when the round was starting, I was like, damn, why are they starting with so much, you know, with lack of space? And AJ would come out the corner and get right up on Klitschko, and Klitschko would fail to back up, and that would close the space enough to give AJ enough to land his power shots, man. And that's exactly how he hurt him in the 5th round, coming smack out of the corner, Joe. And, you know, but however, the veteranship of Wladimir Klitschko, whether he hits the canvas, he was hurt, but he wasn't hurt, I thought. It was more so he lost a lot of balance. Though he did get hurt by 1 or 2 of Joshua's shots throughout his flurry, I thought it wasn't enough to really finish him, just enough to kind of daze him. And that mixing with the fact that Anthony Joshua was leaning a lot of weight on him at that time. So it put him down, and he got back up because Anthony Joshua spent way too much in that flurry and didn't have nothing to answer back with when Klitschko rallied back, Joe. And that shit was crazy, man. Klitschko rallied back, veteran, and you know, he came in much leaner for this particular fight. He came in 10 pounds at the weigh-in lighter than Anthony Joshua, who weighed in at 250, and Klitschko weighed in at 240. And it showed he moved a lot more. He couldn't have held AJ, and he didn't want to get close enough to continuously to hold AJ. So he was lean and he was moving, and he started to use the jab, and it worked much better for him in the second half of the fight. But you know, the way he rallied back in that round and damn near stopping Anthony Joshua, man, it was like, wow, I was on the edge of my seat. I was on my feet, just turned up at that point, man. Like, I thought Anthony Joshua was really out of there. Klitschko made a classic mistake, though he boxed him well in the next following rounds. He didn't put AJ away, man, and he was clocking AJ with some solid shots, but not frequently enough. He started to work behind the jab a lot more, and it was giving AJ time to recover throughout little portions of of the fight, man. But I started to give Klitschko a lot of portions of the fight at that moment. He started to outbox Anthony Joshua, working behind the jab. Man, he just started to school AJ, truth be told, man. At that time, I was like, man, in the middle of the fight, I was like, AJ looking real one-dimensional, but now he was recovering, man. I mean, people got to understand he took a lot of damage in that 5th round, and he expended a lot of energy. So, you know, throughout the middle portions of that fight, he went on a recovering spree, and he wasn't punching nearly as flush. He looked tired. He looked like he wasn't putting much into his punches. He looked stiff, and Wladimir was just moving, jabbing. But, you know, in the 11th round, man, and the thing is, I didn't give AJ another round after the 5th until roughly about round 9. I gave him round 9. I'm sorry, round 9. I made it a 10-9 round for Anthony Joshua. But then round 10, I gave it to Wladimir Klitschko, and I had him up on the cards at that point. But once again, like in round 5, round 11, AJ jumps on Wladimir Klitschko early, coming out of the corners, getting right on top of him as soon as the bell rings. Klitschko giving up way too much space as soon as the bell rings, starting right there in the middle of the ring. And AJ was just right up on him, man. And it hurt Klitschko every time that happened. And that's what happened in the 11th. But at this point, Klitschko could not recover, and it was a wrap. Now, like I say before, hats off to both fighters, man. In the post-fight interview, man, you know, the UK, the way y'all do y'all events, man, god damn, y'all just do the damn thing. The intro for AJ was just off of the chain. It was off of the hook, man. I mean, y'all had him in all white and shit, man, with the fireworks and his letters. We don't do nothing like that over here, man. We got to get into that shit, man. What a fucking presentation, though, man. And just, you know, hats off to the UK. 90,000 was in that bad boy. It was turned up. It was loud. I was just like, wow, man. Looking at the height of that fight, wow, 90,000 screaming fans. It was just beautiful to watch, man. Very beautiful to watch. Hats off to Eddie Hearn and everybody who had a hand in making this event, man. It was just good for the sport. 90,000 people, man. Goodness gracious. But AJ, man, you know, I'm going to tell you like this, man. He called out Tyson Fury in his post-fight interview, and, you know, a lot of people are going to start to say that Tyson Fury may beat AJ. If we get the Tyson Fury that we once had prior to Tyson Fury leaving the sport and being inactive for whatever reason, and you know, getting all messed up or whatever, man. But if we get the Tyson Fury back that we once had, he gives Anthony Joshua problems. Anthony Joshua bulked up bigly for this fight, man. He looked real big, real stiff. A lot of people going to say he put on a little too much muscle for this fight. And his stamina, man, he though he recovered that portions of the fight, he down the stretch, if Klitschko would have just stayed doing what he was doing and was able to stay away from that flurry earlier on from Anthony Joshua, Joshua would have lost that fight. He was getting outboxed. And I thought Klitschko was boxing very, very similar to what the way Tyson Fury will box him, man. At distance, working behind the jab, always moving. The question is, will Tyson Fury get caught the same way that Klitschko did? Now, Paulie Malignaggi brought up a good point in the fight, and he stated that AJ started to hit the body later on in the fight, which he did. You started to see a lot of close uppercuts and a lot of inside work in roughly about the 9th and the 10th round, man. And that could have been the X factor that had slowed Klitschko down enough to get finished, man, and made him drop his hands enough, because he took a mean left hook coming out in that 11th round, man, and his hands was kind of low, and he let AJ get up on him, hands low, and he took a left hook, which led to a big flurry, which finished him, man. He couldn't recover from it, man. I mean, I just can't also get over the fact the way AJ recovered, man. But a lot of fighters are going to see weaknesses in AJ's game. They're going to say, look, he looked real straight up and down, man. He relied a lot on his power, a lot on his strength. The way I predicted this fight would go, I said that, you know, Klitschko would outbox him. You know, I thought very much so. I thought Klitschko would definitely outbox him, work behind the jab, win more rounds than Anthony Joshua, which he did, and that's exactly the way I predicted it. But I thought that the power of AJ would be the main X factor, and that's exactly what it was. Clearly getting outboxed, looking outskilled the way I thought Klitschko would, and this was a 41-year-old Klitschko, and clearly getting outboxed, outskilled, but his power was the X factor. So if he get in there with Wilder, man, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Joe, he get in there with Wilder. Both of these fighters are strong. It's gonna be a fucking bloody war, man. With the difference being Wilder with the longer reach. I mean, oh man, it's going to be a bloody fucking war, man. Klitschko also got cut, man, in this fight. That was another thing, man. This fight was off the hook, man. I had doubts earlier on in this fight, like, well, how is this fight going to go? Wasn't sure, and they totally fucking shocked me, man. AJ now will be recognized as the #1 heavyweight in the entire world, as deservingly so. His resume is now much better than Deontay Wilder, who is the WBC champion, the respected champion, the US champion, but still, the resume of AJ at this point in his career, man, what is he, like 19, 20 fights into his career, some shit like that, all by knockout, man. First time even going this far into a fight, never been past the 7th round, and he does it. He gets the job done in the 11th round, showing good recovery skills, showing that his power is nothing but the truth, something that we always believed, and it's going to be interesting if he makes it in there with Fury or Wilder, because now everybody sees what he performs like at the elite level, and he was pushed to the fucking limit. I mean, pushed to the limit. He did not look dominant, more so, but he did enough to win the fight. And he's young. He's only, 27 years old. He got a long career ahead of him, I think. You know what I mean? He's going to make so much money. They're going to market this kid so well. He's going to make so much fucking money. I don't know how long he has in boxing, but, he was talking shit about coming over here, not fighting in the U.S., and he changed his tune recently, I hear. He knows where the money is, and he is going to be a poster child. So if he's going to be that, it will make common fucking sense to come here to the United States and fight where the big bucks really are. But as for Wladimir Klitschko, man, he will go on into the Hall of Fame. I don't think he continues the fight, though. The way he looked tonight, man, he still can beat a lot of the heavyweights that are still fighting, in my opinion, if he chooses to continue to fight, which he has nothing at this point to prove. And I don't think he'll have any more chances in order to become a 3-time champion. It's something that he wished he could have done. And this goes to show you how fighters like Muhammad Ali, who did it, man, how great of a feat that is, because it's not easy to do for a heavyweight fighter to do. And Klitschko came very close to being in that class, but he just couldn't do it. But still Hall of Fame worthy anyway. If he continues to fight, like I said before, he still will give the heavyweight division hell. I would like to see him retire, walk off into the sunset after a valiant performance by a kid that you have a lot of history with, that you taught a lot of things to. And yes, if the fight would have went through to the end, I think he would have won if it would have went to the judges' scorecards. Real talk. And if not, the UK would have robbed that shit. But heads off to AJ. Great fight. I was entertained. Great event. Great card. All that shit was good. I'm very surprised. Real talk. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. I'm telling you, man, Wilder had to be sitting at ringside. But see, Wilder got to remember, he has stamina issues also. I'm going to dig more into this into future videos, how AJ would now we seen him at the elite level, how he would line up with the other heavyweights such as Fury and Deontay Wilder, which they may seem a lot of holes in AJ's game tonight, but that power, man, that power is vicious, it's young, it's the truth. But there were holes in a lot of exposure tonight, and a lot of people are going to talk about it. But Fury, I think, gives him hell, man. If Fury comes back in the form he left, he gives AJ hell. Real shit. To the next video. Peace out.